Hello, good morning, happy Saturday. My name is Meghan Maes, and this is Being Civil in Minnesota. Come here every Saturday at 10 to talk about legal issues and resources for individuals and families in the state of Minnesota. This is not intended to be legal advice. I am a lawyer, and we are going to be talking today about what happens if you think you need a lawyer and how to start that process to identify the lawyer that's best for you. But this is not intended to be legal advice. There are great resources out there, and you should go to lawhelpmn.org if you have questions about legal rights and responsibilities in the state of Minnesota. And if you need information about the court process or instructions or forms, you can go on the Minnesota Judicial Branch website. Sometimes people think that, hey, this is something that is important or complicated or outside of my area of expertise, and I think I might need to consult with a lawyer. How do you know if you should consult with a lawyer? And of course, there's a lot of terrible lawyer jokes out there and a lot of misconceptions. So working with a lawyer can be incredibly helpful and for your case. Lawyers are trained to understand and know the rules. It can be advantageous to have somebody who is familiar with that and help you be able to think critically and strategically to help you with your goals. But lawyers sometimes have a bad reputation. To be fair, I think there's a lot of professions out there where somebody has worked with an individual that they're like, oh, it makes me think this about the entire profession. I want to change that, right? I live in Mankato, and we have a great bar association down here. We had a great event recently where the judges came and spoke with the lawyers, and it was just really great to have that interaction with other lawyers in the community. One of the misconceptions is that all lawyers or people in the legal field are in it for the money. A lawyer provides a service, and you as the customer decide how much of those services you need, how many hours of services you need, and you can control that. You are the customer, and you are in the driver's seat when it comes to how many hours of legal time your case takes. There are things that come up that you can't anticipate, the lawyer can't anticipate, and so sometimes those estimates will be off. But most times you should have an understanding of what your money is going towards, and I think that is something that we could do a little bit better job of with regards to transparency. Another misconception is, lawyers are just trying to cheat you. I think I rely on individuals being happy with the services that I provide in order to get additional clients. So the idea that I would cheat or that a lawyer who is following the rules, we are ethically bound to provide a quality service to clients, and so the idea that somebody would violate those rules would put them in jeopardy of sanctions, suspension, and possible license revocation. Sometimes people think that lawyers are so busy, they're not responsive, that means they don't care. Again, it's a service. A lot of businesses are, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. A lot of issues come up outside of those hours. And I think there are some expectations that means that you can utilize those services 24/7. But, imagine if you were like, all right, I'm gonna go get a massage. It's an hour massage. I go there, I get my massage, I'm done. And then I show up a week later and I'm like, oh, I just have like a really just quick 5 minutes here. If you could just, and they're like, I'm in my living room. It's probably better for me if I set up an appointment and, sort of respect that time and have an understanding about what timely communication is in response. It's not all possible to get everything answered immediately. That is not to say that lawyers should be taking on too many clients so that they are unresponsive. That is also we have to be diligent and we have to be client-centered. And so making sure that you have enough time to do the legal work, I think, is on the lawyer to make sure. So hopefully that helps a little bit with the sometimes intimidation that people can feel working with lawyers. So you've decided you're all right. I'm ready to talk to a lawyer. What do you do? And not every case needs a lawyer. There may be other professionals that you want to engage services with, like a mediator or a parenting time expediter. Each individual that you would hire has a different role and responsibilities, and understanding those and what your options are can be very helpful for you to make the best decision you can make for your family. You want to make sure that the lawyer's experience matches your legal needs. You want to make sure that they have the level of experience that your case requires. So there is a lawyer's registration that you can go online and make sure that the lawyer is in good standing. If they've had any past issues with their license, because an attorney in the state of Minnesota is licensed. And so we are subject to oversight for our job. And if there are issues with us performing our job under our license, there would be sometimes a public reprimand or a suspension or temporary and or permanent. So you can find some of the disciplinary status and whether or not that attorney represents private clients. Another thing that you want to do is probably talk to the individual. Obviously, you can't anticipate that someone is going to meet with you for several hours because there are certainly limits to the amount of time that any business has to meet with prospective clients. And so you want to make sure that you get the questions answered that you want to know. Some of those questions might be, how are your fees determined? A lot of lawyers charge hourly. Some charge a flat fee, and some meaning there's just $1 amount and they'll do the work that it takes. If it takes a little work, they made a good deal. If it takes a lot of work, you made a great deal. So, and that doesn't mean that there's an incentive to do less work. It just means cases can settle or they can be dismissed. There are just, complicating factors that can add to the amount of time that each case has. You want to make sure that you have a good rapport, a good vibe with the attorney. This is somebody, at least in my experience with family law, that you're going to probably be working with for a significant period of time. So you want to find an attorney that matches your expectations and that is able to provide the services that you require for that best suit you. And as the consumer, you get to decide. So trust your gut, shop around and, make the best decision. Other considerations would be availability and timelines. How soon can I expect to be onboarded to the firm, and what are the next steps and what happens after that? No attorney can give probably an exact, yes, this will take 78 days, but a general understanding of how long these cases take is going to be helpful for you to manage sort of any expectations you might have about what the timeline could be or should be. And then another question that I think a lot of people want to know is, all right, if I hire your firm, who am I going to be working with, right? Because you may meet with one person, and if the firm is larger, you may get assigned a different attorney. That doesn't necessarily mean that your case is unimportant. They may have certain attorneys that are doing screening, but if you felt strongly about an attorney that you had a consultation with and wanting to keep them as an attorney, you would want to make sure that you discuss those expectations in the beginning, as well as what kind of other staff might be working on the file. So Best of luck out there. Hopefully you've got some good resources now where you can at least decide if and when hiring an attorney is right for you. If you have questions, come back next Saturday at 10. Post questions in the Facebook group, Being Civil in Minnesota. Lots of great questions came in this week. I wasn't able to get to all of them, so I might pop a few in for next week, but we always have room for more. You can post anonymously to protect your privacy. Enjoy the sunshine. Have a great Saturday. We'll see you next week.